Hello, how are you?
Hi, Michael.
Are you a tourist? Huh? Huh? Did you?
Hi, Michael.
How did you know my name?
Because
You're Jesus Christ.
Where?
Actually,
Yeah.
Clarny.
Yeah.
I used to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Did you?
Yeah.
Very good. Well, tell me more about it. Seriously, because I'm studying it at the moment. Studying a book called The Four Major Cults,
Okay.
and the first chapter is on Mormonism.
Yeah.
The second one is your mother the English woman?
Yes.
Yes, I remember. I met you in the car park of our church before.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the first one, oh, there's a woman's just found money. Well done. Pick it up. Who's dropping it? Is the question. You didn't drop any money. Well, have you got a testimony to share? A story of why did you leave?
Smoking.
That's the only reason
Yeah.
you wanted to smoke,
Yes.
and there was a rule that said you're not allowed to smoke.
Yes, I got disfellowshipped.
Oh, is that it? Wasn't anything other than that?
Nope.
Hmm. Well, the Bible doesn't say anything about smoking. So, like, that's where I have a friend who's a committed Jehovah Witness,
Yeah.
right? And we have lots of interesting discussions,
Yeah.
right? And the one thing he said that shocked me most was, um, I asked this question of Jehovah Witnesses. Are you a Jehovah Witness, by the way?
No.
No, sorry, I don't. I never met you before, so hello,
Hello.
hello. Michael's my name, right? Good that you remembered. So we asked these questions. How long have you been a Jehovah Witness? And he'd go, like 50 years. Now, this is where we test how honest people are. Now, let me ask you the next question. How much has the truth changed in those 50 years?
I know, yeah.
Now, a fake Jehovah Witness will say the truth never changes. Never changes. But he was honest. He says, I won't give his name, but he said, it's always changing. And he says, we're in fact discouraged from referring to anything that's 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, if it's 10 years old in a book that I'm reading,
Yeah.
outdated.
Yeah.
So I said, so then how can you say that anything that you're saying at the moment is the truth?
Yeah.
For all you know, it could be the bottom of the birdcage tomorrow, right? It's just nothing that you say can be absolutely the truth.
No. I believe Jehovah's Witnesses are called.
Oh, they are a cult. I actually watched a documentary on HBO last night. I started watching it anyway, an American, Spanish version of the Jehovah's Witnesses. And look, I know a few of the witnesses. One of them is Ruth Moram. I know her.
Hmm?
Ruth Moram.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she has her own YouTube channel against the witnesses, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
It's mostly against the governing body, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
But it's they're disingenuous with the scriptures. That's the bottom line. And I don't know if you noticed that at all when
Yeah.
you're actually studying with them. But you're raised a Jehovah Witness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's a different thing than someone coming into it and
Yeah.
then saying, "Oh, I actually thought that they were teaching some truth here."
Yeah.
But it's the way that they would jump around the Bible. Oh, here's a verse, and there's a verse over here. Now, if we string these two together, we have Frankenstein, but that's okay. We just don't go through the text the way we're supposed to, which is verse by verse in context and draw out the meaning of the text. See?
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be, but they won't
Yeah.
do that.
No.
And they'll add a few bits here and there just to make their point. In fact,
Did you know?
Yeah.
You no longer have to wear a tie.
Yeah, I know that. And men's
women
gonna have a
can
weird.
wear pants.
Men can have beards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did that come in? Oh, that's only this year. Like,
How did
roughly.
that?
Oh, I know where it comes from. We're losing members, and we have to do something to bring in more people. Make it sort of easy going. You don't have to have a monthly how many hours you've done of the service work.
Yeah.
That's okay. Just whatever you think's right for you.
Yeah.
All of this is to make it more easygoing.
Yeah.
Now they have to keep a few things,
Yeah.
but what's probably going to be changing very soon is birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the governing body members was on a trip to somewhere in South America, and he said something about a birthday and about it's so many or whatever he said. He sort of made an off the cuff comment, and nobody seemed to bat an eyelid, and it was like, see how that went, and then we'll bring it in because they can't really justify it biblically, right?
Yeah.
Birthdays. What are they going to say? Well, there's 2 examples in the Bible of people who had birthdays and they were bad.
Yeah. Heads
Okay,
cut off.
so that's the reason why it's bad. And then they say we only celebrate things that are, in the Bible. Like what? Well, do you celebrate anniversaries?
Yeah.
Yes. Are they in the Bible? No. So you just make up the rules as you go along. It seems. Now, is your mother still a witness?
Yes.
Right. In the Killarney branch, is it? Or Milton Tralee?
We were in Carney before.
Well, I guess there's people that I've met in the congregation in Killarney who are no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the memorial a
I
couple
was
times.
there when you went once.
Yes, and I took the bread and the wine,
Yeah.
and just to see what the response there would be, because after all, no one else was taking of it. And then I went to another memorial, and took the bread, and I said, "Never again." It was the awfulest bread. It's like shoe leather. It was like there for years. No one's touching it. We'll just keep it for next year. But my friend, I won't mention any names, I said, but
Yeah.
he would consider himself anointed.
Okay, going to heaven.
Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did they? Where did they get that teaching from? Well, you've got lists of the 144,000, and yet it says of the tribes of Israel, but that's not to be taken literally. And yet the numbers are taken literally. Like they can mix and match whatever they want just to make their point. So there's lots of things. But as for one who's left, where does that leave you? In no man's land.
Yeah.
But does that mean you turn away from religion altogether? That's what I thought. A lot of people do that. And if you read books on the cults, they usually say it takes 5 years for them to even consider the possibility that maybe there's something else I could look into. Because it's a very controlling religion, the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Like, if you get disfellowshipped, no one's allowed to talk to you.
Shunning, yeah.
Yes, I've got that.
Yeah, but like, who cares?
I know.
You got someone to talk to here, right? And that's one of the reasons why I went to the Kingdom Hall, because if ever somebody is considering fading out, leaving, whatever, they think there's nobody out there, and if we have made contact with them, they can say like, "Hey, I know this guy."
Yeah.
And it's not as bad as they made him out to be in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But they want to make you out the world. These are evil. Everyone's bad, so that you don't have any contacts outside the witnesses, and you're afraid to leave. That's one of the things.
My mum in 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And she can't, or you'd like to, or she
can't.
She can't. She can, but she won't. In other words, yeah, that's sad.
But it's nice chatting to you, but we're in a bit of a rush.
Fine, no problem.
Taxi.
Okay,
Nice
maybe you'll see us again sometime.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
You too. Okay, nice to see you too. Bye. That's a pity I didn't get some of that on camera. At least it was recorded. Audio was recorded. Anyone want to answer a question? We're all ears, all ears. There's a lot of people read these things and they read it wrongly. I'd like to see what people's response is. Do you think it says that God is now here or God is nowhere? That's what I'd like to know. What do you think? Where are you guys from? What? Oh, way out. I knew a guy out there. I'll be Dorney. What was his name? Anyone want to answer these questions today? Does anyone think they could answer this? What does it say? Well, I can give you a more difficult one if you like. Let me see what I have here. Oh, yeah. The riddle. Like a riddle. See if you can answer that one. Maybe you're not sure about the state of the world at the moment, and you think, well, what is going on? Some people have told me that they believe that we're living in the end times because of the things that they hear and read and see on the news. But these things, maybe there could be right, but there's also a possibility that these things always go in cycles, and that you'll always hear of these sorts of things to frighten people, worry people. But it's always good to be ready nonetheless, regardless of what you think is the outcome or what you think of the prophetic calendar and that sort of thing. It's always good to be ready. Be prepared at all times. Am I right? You want to answer a question, ladies? Yeah, it's always good to be ready because you don't know at what point, when, ever you're going to breathe your last. When's your last day going to be on this earth? And it's always good to be prepared. There's some people who think, well, I'm planning to live till I'm an old man or an old woman, but they don't know that they've got some problem, and it might just be that today is their last day. And if today is your last day, I hope you're prepared. It's like if you were on an airplane, have you got your parachute, or are you prepared for whatever might happen? I don't think many people are ready at all. Therefore, how do you get yourself ready to meet your maker? Because you're going to have to meet the maker one day, and then it's a matter of how will you do on that day? Will you be embarrassed, ashamed to face God, God being a holy God? Would you be afraid, worried about having to face God on Judgment Day? Could be today. Or are you saying, I look forward to it? I have no problem at all because I'm not trusting in myself, my good works, how great a person I am, but I am putting my trust in what Christ has done for me. Yes. And what am I doing today? Doing a bit of preaching on the streets, as I normally do. Asking the prominent, the pertinent, important questions that people need to answer but don't really want to answer. If you were to die today, do you know where you're going? Well, that's a good question because some people think, well, it's just all you are is a physical body. Is that all that you are? Just a physical body? There's nothing more to you than that? Or is there more to you? Look, we have two Mormons walking up the street toward me. Maybe they'd like to engage in conversation. Hello there. How's it going? Are you from? Let me come in. Come on. Are you? You're representing a certain branch, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Do you want to have a little conversation? No? You what? Oh, I'm having a great day. Yeah, thanks. I think they are not too keen to let people know what they actually believe. That they believe they're going to become a god themselves one day. How's that going? Well, sad, but there you go. It's amazing what you find when you talk to people what they believe. If I was to ask you this question today, how would you answer it? Do you believe that there is a God? Okay, you should have said, well, that all depends what you mean by God, right? What is God? Huh? What? Well, that's what I'm asking. If you say you don't believe in it, you don't know what it is, how can you say you don't believe it? Right? So isn't it better to find out what we mean by God first before we answer the question? Makes sense, right? See, that's why I asked the question. Do you believe there's a God? You should say, well, it all depends what you mean by God. Right? So what is your definition? A genie in a bottle? Is that what you thought I was referring to? An old man who wears a beard upstairs in the clouds? Is that what you thought I meant? I'm asking a simple question. The simple question was, do you believe there's a God? You can't answer it until you know what I mean, or what you mean, or how you define it. Am I right? What? God is real, but you haven't defined what you mean by God, though. Well, there you go. If you can't define it, define a man, define a woman. You can't define those probably either, right? Oh well, that's the level of understanding people have. They cannot define, which is true. It's quite difficult to define the indefinable, but at least give it a go. It's a great day to be out here talking to people about the various things that they believe in, how they perceive things, what they believe about things. Just to strike up conversations and questions and answers.